Hello there, good to see you. We seem to be receiving a lot of mouth-watering Alien Earth promotional stuff right now, and that's great, finally. The summer will come around quickly, and I'm glad we have footage to analyse a few months prior. Now, I say mouth-watering because I cannot be the only one getting this vibe, but don't you feel there is a slightly different atmosphere, an air about this show that was somewhat missing from the Romulus marketing campaign? Some might say, well, it's the lack of teenagers and the overwhelming dependency on nostalgia that gives Alien Earth a feeling of superiority so far. Possibly. I just have a feeling we're going to get something special. With the full-length trailer available to us now, don't worry, I will be covering that next. And with this lovely little piece of backstory seen through the eyes of what I presume is a collar cam attached to a cat, I'm starting to get the sense that Noah Hawley and his team have taken this new addition to the Alien franchise very seriously. There could be a good amount of sophistication and substance to the show that is sitting well with me so far based on what we've seen, and for that reason I'll admit I'm very much looking forward to the summer. It also blows my mind that we will be able to watch weekly episodes of Alien instead of just a handful of films spanning decades. But let's analyse this ominous piece of found footage courtesy of Weyland-Yutani, shall we? I love it already. Restricted access to recovered company data is now fully accessible to everyone. Therefore, I'm looking forward to discovering what else we will learn about the events leading up to the Nostromo's departure. So, we have ourselves a glimpse of the USCSS Maginot, moments before its crash landing on Earth at Prodigy City. I hadn't a clue where this was located until the lucky few that received a gift from FX Network figured out that the coordinates were Austin, Texas. But remember, Thailand was the filming location, so I would expect to see many exotic places in the show as well. It's said that there will be 5 key players, with Weyland-Yutani and Prodigy being 2 of them. Therefore, I would guess each of these corporate government hybrid entities will have headquarters separate from one another across the globe. In any case, the bigger question is how far this deep space exploration vessel travelled and where precisely the crew discovered the specimens. One crew member gives us an important clue related to this a little later in the footage, by the way.
Hello, you little rascal.
We can see here a very similar looking cat to that of Jonesy from 1979's Alien, which is set 2 years after Alien Earth, which I'm sure most of you are now very aware concerning the show's timeline. Now, you may call me a conspiracy theorist if you like, but the fact that this cat looks identical to Jonesy sets off alarm bells for me. It's simply too on the nose otherwise. Unbeknownst to the ship's crew, I wonder if these cats are synthetic and distributed by the company, one per ship to be the company's eyes and ears. In contrast, an artificial human might not always be sufficient for surveillance, perhaps. Combining the fact that we are literally watching recorded footage from its collar device displaying Weyland-Yutani watermarks opens up new theories.
How you keep on dropping it? Huh? I'm your boss. Remember who got you the job?
This crew member even says, "How do you keep dropping it?" suggesting some urgency for the cat to wear it. As the cat scuttles off, we as Alien fans are allowed a moment to rejoice in those familiar retro future aesthetics and sound effects without it being shoved in our faces. The visual style reminiscent of the original Alien is a friendly, subtle reminder and a welcoming hint at the world building to come, in the many hours we will have to immerse ourselves in this franchise once more. The display here makes little sense to me other than it being perhaps a flight path, but the real tragedy is that we cannot read these post-it notes that may contain essential clues regarding their trip. Oh well, we move on. The mother room, with its dazzling lights and CRT-styled monitors, is perfectly recaptured here, and so is the ever-persistent and morally detached messages that appear on the screen. A promising indication that the company's secretive policies in Alien Earth won't disappoint. Equally, I'm incredibly eager to learn what other specimens were captured and stored on board, as the message does state that all organisms must be safely returned for analysis. If there is a variety of alien life safely contained on this vessel, and only a few eggs belonging to the infamous species once referred to as a perfect organism, then can we expect to have some light shed on how this species can multiply? Unless a queen will emerge again, only this time on Earth. What a frightening thought. Interestingly, one last glimpse at another bit of text partially out of focus reads, Specimens, multiple ovomorphs, meaning multiple eggs. But again, I must reiterate, how did these eggs come to be and where were they found? We know they were discovered on a moon from an earlier trailer, but are we talking about the moon? I would love for the show to explore these questions creatively while adhering to previous canon as much as possible. Hawley has already said that understandable changes to the xenomorph based on the host will be a factor in the show, which has always been the case, I would say. Still, the creature's silhouette will remain the same, which is what I needed to hear. As the cat encounters two engineers performing maintenance, one says something that offers an intriguing clue pertaining to the ship's voyage and the time involved with such a journey.
The kids are older than me now.
He says that his kids are now older than him, which immediately made me think of significant time dilation as seen in the movie Interstellar. Then again, it's more likely to reference time spent in stasis inside cryopods. We certainly saw the negative aspect of cryosleep in Aliens when Ripley unintentionally drifted for far too long, and sadly outlived her own child. However, if we put things into perspective, the Nostromo, Ripley's ship in Alien, was estimated to take a further 10 months to reach Earth from LV-426, which exists within the Zeta II Reticuli system roughly 39 light-years from Earth. This means that the Nostromo would have been travelling at over 40 times the speed of light. If we assume that the exploration vessel in this backstory teaser, the Maginot, was also equipped with faster-than-light drives and never strayed off course, then we could be looking at star systems well outside the boundaries of known frontier space. Unless this ship has clocked hundreds of thousands of light years in the effort to survey worlds within the known galactic map belonging to the films. Hopefully the show will reveal a new location, one with some significance, clearly.
Arcturus maybe.
Gross.
Sounds very familiar, right? This is a subtle reference to a conversation between Frost and Spunkmeyer on board the Sulaco in Aliens, where they say this.
Hey, I sure wouldn't mind getting some more of that Arcturian poontang. Remember that time?
Yeah, bro. The one that you had was male.
It doesn't matter when it's Arcturian, baby.
The Arcturians were the only recorded species discovered, at least, that are humanoid. That said, their intelligence and culture would be more akin to earlier humans, such as Mesoamericans. Although Weyland-Yutani had established trade and education with the indigenous species, the joke in Aliens is that most humans would find it very difficult to differentiate between males and females, as the species was considered gender fluid. I guess James Cameron was way ahead of his time, right? And not just because of his warning about a powerful AI taking over. As a side note, there is an argument to be made regarding this predecessor species to humanity, and that is, what if they were also creations of the engineers? Once at the mess hall, the two individuals playing cards discussed the identity of the ovomorphs collected. The strange thing is that the mother monitor display named them as such and then expressed the importance of safely bringing them back. It seems evident that if these two cannot decide if the specimens are flora or fauna, plant or animal, then perhaps only the ship's android is privy to this knowledge. It's a familiar theme, I know, but one that makes sense. As the cat closes in on the Maginot's precious cargo, we're merely teased by its mysterious contents. Even if we study these images frame by frame, it's hard to determine what's been stored in the containers. The contents appear messy, implying that they may have used synthetics to transfer the biohazardous organic materials. A safe bet would be to say that the larger square containers are housing the ovomorphs, but even so, I sincerely hope we learn more about the contents of this ship and where it's been, and that knowledge isn't just restricted to this piece of promotional footage. As the inevitable happens, we hear someone shout out for a fire extinguisher, which in my mind can only mean that the crew had no idea the specimens had acid for blood, and that is no doubt how some escaped their confines. Well, as we end on essentially how the show begins, I wonder if our little purring confidant here will survive after all. I guess that all depends on whether it's synthetic or not. Thinking about it, I wonder if that detail played any part in Jones's ability to survive his encounter with Big Chap in Alien. Okay, that was just an initial reaction to this awesome footage, giving us some backstory as to why the ship crashes on Earth. Next, I will analyse and share my thoughts on the full-length trailer, so stay tuned for that. Let me know how you're feeling in the rising build up to this show and the new footage so far. But I'm starting to get hyped, and despite past disappointments, it's hype for all the right reasons. Mostly I'm feeling optimistic because I love long format episodic storytelling when it's done well, and a chance to explore the Alien universe with a larger dramatic story is something I'm quite excited about. I'll see you in the next video guys, take care.